Hi everybody, thank you for watching. So today's video is going to be another part of my makeup collection series. I'm going to be going through my single eyeshadows, which is what you see here, and then also my eyeshadow palettes. So I'm going to start first with these single eyeshadows. So to start off, I have these two from L'Oreal. They're both the Infallible eyeshadows. One is in Ice Latte, which is this like shimmery type vanilla champagne one. And then the other one is in Liquid Diamond. It's a really cool like blue, gray, purple eyeshadow. These were some of the first eyeshadows that I ever purchased, and I used the heck out of them before I really started buying like a lot of different eyeshadows. But every once in a while I will dip back into these, and I think they are really, really good eyeshadows. Like, I hear really good things about the L'Oreal Infallible shadows, so would definitely recommend these, and these are two of my favorite colors. One is from Maybelline. It's one of their Color Tattoo 24-hour shades, and the color is in Leather. So it's really interesting because it's more of like a cream type of eyeshadow, and this one is a really nice purple color. I've used this alone before on my eyes, like just literally put this all over my eyelid, or I've also used it as a base as well. I don't use it as much anymore, but this was like my go-to when I wanted like a super simple, easy, quick look. I would just put this all over the lid and put mascara on, and I was ready to go. Another one from Maybelline, another of the color tattoos. This is one of their pure pigments. This is in the shade Barely Brazen. So this is what it looks like when you open it up. So it's a pigment. Pigments are known for being messy, but honestly, I hated this. It does not show up at all. I even tried using it with like MAC Fix Plus and that sort of thing. It just does not show up at all. I mean, you don't even get an hour of wear, much less 24 hours of wear. So this one I really can just get rid of from my collection because I never touch it. This little guy is a shadow from Nomad Cosmetics. I got it in one of my Ipsy bags. So it just looks like this. It's just a nice like golden shimmery color. It's nice. It reminds me a lot of a Makeup Geek eyeshadow that I'll show you guys a little bit later. So I tend to grab my Makeup Geek one more, but this was still a really nice shade. Just something that I don't reach for a ton. I have two eyeshadows from Milani. I have the shades Bella Espresso and then also Bella Ivory. These are both in a satin matte finish. These were the first time that I was trying Milani eyeshadows with these, and I actually ended up really, really liking them. They go on really smoothly. They are pretty pigmented. Like, I wouldn't say they're the most pigmented eyeshadows that I own, of course, but they do have nice pigment. They are from the drugstore, so they are more affordable. I also have this pigment. This is from MAC Cosmetics. It's in Vanilla. I think I featured this in my YouTube Made Me Buy It video because Carly Bible used to use it all the time. Across the lid, it was always Vanilla MAC Pigment, Vanilla MAC Pigment, and I was like, okay, I gotta go get it. I mean, I've used it pretty frequently, and I feel like pigments are something that you will just never use up. Like, I mean, I have used this probably 20 plus times, and it looks like I haven't used any. So like, pigments are pretty awesome for that reason. Like, you don't have to spend too much money to get a product that will probably last you the rest of your life, but I do find myself reaching for this quite a bit. These two glitters from Wet n Wild. The other one is in Spiked, and then the more gold one is in Brass. So these I thought were very, very interesting. They were only like 99 cents, and everyone went kind of crazy when Wet n Wild came out with them. And one of them works so well. I think it's the silver one. Works so well, looks nice on the lid, shows up, stays put. And then the gold one for me was so oily, barely showed up on the lids. Like, I just could not work with the gold one. And I just thought that was really interesting that I bought the exact same product at the exact same store. I bought them at the same time, and they were so completely different. For that reason, I don't really reach for these a lot. Even though the silver one worked out just fine, it still kind of like turns me off from these. They were only 99 cents, and if I ever need something with glitter, I guess I can turn to the silver one, but I just thought it was very strange how different the same product could be. See this little circle here? This is all of my Colourpop eyeshadows. I know I don't have a ton, especially compared to some other people, but they are only $5, so they're definitely not a bad price. This first one right here is called LaLA. It's definitely a really pretty rose gold color. I actually just used this in a recent Instagram tutorial that I can leave linked down below. So that's definitely one of my favorites. Next one is Plaid. Plaid was one that I really liked too, and if you can tell, I did hit pan on it, so obviously that means I liked it quite a bit. It's just a really nice deep green color. So this was another one that I really liked. I will try to link all of these down below. Like, I'll link all the products, but Colourpop is definitely challenging because so much of what they put out is limited edition and, you know, goes away very frequently. But anything that I can find from Colourpop, I'll link down below. But that's really why I don't purchase more eyeshadows from Colourpop, or really much in general from Colourpop anymore, is because it's constantly limited edition. They're always getting rid of things and it's really annoying. So this next one is Mixtape, and Mixtape was a really interesting color. It was like a, I don't know how to describe it, so I'm gonna swatch it. It's kind of like a mauve shade, but it has like a metallic shift to it as well. It's just a really interesting color, and I find myself using it a lot, especially all over the lid. I'm kind of surprised I haven't hit pan on this one yet because I do use it quite frequently, but Mixtape is another good one. Is Nillionaire. This is like a really, really popular one for Colourpop. It wasn't one of my favorites. I can swatch this one too. It wasn't one of my favorites because I didn't feel like it showed up on the lid very well. It just was more like straight glitter on the lid. So it has like a kind of like a brown greenish base, and then it has like gold glitter in it. But when I used it on my lid, it just came out more glitter on my lid, and I don't know, I didn't really love it. I probably need to play around with it some more, but I don't know, Millionaire like gets so much hype on Colourpop, but for me, it ended up not being a favorite. Have is Puppy Love. I know for sure this one is discontinued. It was a really nice, just like, oh, I hit pan on this one too. It's kind of like a metallic vanilla champagne shade. It was really pretty, and like all the proceeds went to, I think it was the No Kill Shelter in LA, so I wanted to buy it for that reason, but they discontinued it pretty quickly, which was disappointing, but I use it for a highlight quite a bit, even more than an eyeshadow, but discontinued. You can't get it. The next one I have is So Quiche. This one I thought was such a cool color. This is what it looks like in there, and then I'll swatch this one too because I'm like, I don't even know how I would describe this one either. So that is what So Quiche looks like. It's another one that has like some glitter to it, but I found that it wasn't just as like straight glittery as Nillionaire was. It's just such a like cool color. I love using this all over my lid. I just think it's such a fun color, and the glitter wasn't too overwhelming. So again, that one was So Quiche. Hopefully this one is still in stock, but I don't know for sure if it is. Another one I have is Central Perk. I will admit I bought this mostly for the name because I love Friends. It's just a really nice like burgundy color, which is really good for fall right now. I think this one is still in stock. I think this is one that they kind of keep around. Just a really nice like deep burgundy shade. No glitter, no metallic, no shifts, no anything like that. Just a straight burgundy color, and it's really, really nice. The last one I have here is Truth with LaLA quite a bit. So in that Instagram tutorial that I was talking about with LaLA, this is what I use like in the crease. It's just a soft tan beige color. It's nice for a transition shade. Like, it's not brown, so it's not like the best crease color in the world, but for some reason Truth and LaLA paired together is like one of my favorite combinations. So I like Truth. I don't think it's one that like you have to have in your collection, but I do think it's really nice. So any of the Colourpop shadows I'll try to leave linked down below, and if you see me trying to like close them really tight or I'm struggling to open them, it's Colourpop shadows can dry out really quickly, so you want to make sure you close them super, super tight so they don't dry out. This probably should have been included with my palettes since it's an eyeshadow palette, but for some reason I put it in this side. So this is from Wet n Wild. It's their Silent Treatment collection, and I think this is really nice for a smoky eye. You have your 3 different colors here. This color is probably my favorite. I actually use it on its own quite a bit. Like, I'll pull out this palette just for this color. So I think that's really nice, but when you pair them together, you can create a really awesome smoky eye. I actually used this for one of my very first YouTube tutorials which is so much fun to think about, but these are so inexpensive, and the Wet n Wild trios are seriously really, really good. So next we're going to move on to the palettes. So here's a quick overview of my eyeshadow palettes. Not a ton like some other people have, but I've said in several of my videos that I'm not a huge eyeshadow palette junkie, but this is what I have, so I will walk you through each one. But this is a Too Faced palette. It's called Pixie Pinups. So when you open it up, it had 6 different eyeshadows, and it also came with an eyeliner, and I think these were brushes maybe? No, I think it was a mascara and a brush, I believe. If you can tell, like, I really loved that color, but I actually used to work with Too Faced in the past. When they first came out, I did a lot of work for them, like on my blog and reviewing for them, and they actually sent me this as a thank you, which was like super cool. And yeah, I really used the crap out of it. I don't use it as much anymore, mostly because this palette isn't around anymore, and I don't even think the shades are, so it's not something that I feel like I can use a whole lot, but I was so grateful to get this from Too Faced. Then this one right here is the Too Faced Natural Eye Palette. This is the very first high-end eyeshadow palette that I ever bought. I believe this is still out, but the packaging is a little bit different. This is very old. I've had this for several years, and if you can tell, obviously, it's been very loved on, but this is kind of what brought me into the Too Faced craze, and yeah, still a brand that I support and I purchase from very frequently. This one right here is a palette from Smashbox Cosmetics, if you can see that. It's their Shape Matters eyeshadow palette. So when you open it up, it has the big mirror right there, and then these are all of the different eyeshadows. It also does come with a double-ended brush. So these eyeshadows, they're supposed to be able to be used as eyeshadows, eyebrow shadows, and then also eyeliners. And I really get a lot of use out of this palette. I've used it several times. I believe I've mentioned it in a favorites video. I've done tutorials with it. When I first opened this palette, I was like, okay, you know, a lot of browns and a lot of neutrals, like, sure, I can probably create some looks with it, but, you know, probably not a ton, and that is actually so wrong. I have created so many different looks with this, and I ended up really falling in love with this palette. I use the brush pretty frequently as well, especially this liner side. I will use like this black or this deep kind of like reddish brown color, or even some of these browns over here. I'll use them as liners. I really like this palette. I believe it's still in stock and not a limited edition palette, so I'll leave it linked down below. But this one from Smashbox really impressed me. And actually Smashbox sent this to me to review, which I was so incredibly grateful for, and especially because I just truly fell in love with it. Made me so happy. This next one is from Kat Von D. It's the Shade in Light Eye Palette. This was another one, has a big mirror here. This was another one that I featured in my YouTube Made Me Buy It video, because everybody was talking about this, and also the Kat Von D Contour Palette. I don't have that, but I did buy the eyeshadow palette, and man, am I happy that I did. This one is such a good palette, very hyped still, I think, to this day, and definitely worth the hype. Almost kind of remind me of each other, but they each feature, you know, different colors, different shades. You just can do different looks with them. So even though those are both matte palettes, I still think that they're different enough that I'm glad that I have both of them. This is one, when I first got it, I basically used nothing else. Like, this was my everything. I traveled with this. I love the big mirror on it. It's so helpful. I love the shades. They blend so easily. They're very pigmented, which means that they do, you know, kind of have a lot of kick up to them, but I mean, the pigmentation is worth it. I just definitely recommend, if you're using this on your eyes, do your eyes first and then your face makeup, because you'll probably get some shadows, you know, falling onto your face, but seriously, it really is worth it to me. So this is one of my 2 Morphe palettes. This one is the 35T palette. This is the first palette that I purchased from Morphe of their like 35 eyeshadow palettes. This palette is freaking phenomenal. It's full of like mauves. It's got great matte and shimmer shades. It's got gold. It's got rose gold. This one is a really pretty like duochrome. It has the transition shades, like the nice browns over here that I use almost every single time I use this palette. It's got the deeper colors. It's got like the sparkly berries. I love this palette. If you can't tell, like, it is dirty because I use it so often, and you can create so many looks with this. These Morphe 35 palettes are super affordable for all the shades that you're getting, and I just really, really enjoy them. This next one, I think this might be my newest eyeshadow palette. It is the Tartlet in Bloom from Tarte Cosmetics. So again, it does have the mirror here, and then you have your eyeshadows. There are mattes, there are shimmers, there's you know, a transition color, there's these darker colors over here. Got these really nice pretty shimmers. This is an older palette, but still everybody talks about this palette to this day, and I was like, okay, everyone is still saying, you know, this palette is actually really phenomenal. I have to get it. I've only probably used it 3 times since I said it is pretty new, but it is such a nice palette. Very, very pigmented, and I've already done several different looks with it. Like, each of the 3 looks that I've done have been very different looks. I think this is a really good palette. I'm really excited to keep playing with it more and more. Another palette from Tarte is a collaboration. So it's the Styled by Harouche palette. Harouche is a celebrity makeup artist. So this is the collab that they did. So it has the mirror here. It has 6 eyeshadow shades and then also a blush shade. I'm so glad that I got it because I love it. I featured this in favorites videos. I use it all the time. This has kind of been like my go-to when I travel now because it has the mirror, it has eyeshadows, it has a blush. Like, it's very small and compact, so when you travel it is so good for that. Since it is a collab, it will be a limited edition, but I believe it is still out there, so if it is, I will leave it linked down below, and I highly recommend this one. So this is my other Morphe eyeshadow palette, and this one is the beloved 350. Oh man, everybody was talking about the 350, and it was so hard to get my hands on. It was constantly sold out, and I finally got it, and I'm like, you know what? I get it. I get why people love it. It is a gorgeous palette. It has these really pretty lighter shades over here. Obviously, these are like your deeper shades and your oranges. Then you have the dark shades over here. The shimmer colors are absolutely beautiful, but these oranges I love. There's almost like this is one of my favorite ones. It's almost like that, like, baby puke color, but I don't care. I love it. I use it all the time. I mean, this palette is so incredibly hyped up. I don't feel like I need to tell you guys how hyped up it is because you probably know, but if you can get it, I say get it because the 350 is bomb. I have is from BH Cosmetics and Carly Bible. It has a mirror as well, and then it has eyeshadows here and then also highlights down here. I've used the highlights as eyeshadows as well, but it's just a really nice palette. I find myself reaching for it so often. It was one of those palettes again that I was like, yeah, I could do like 2 or 3 looks with it, but honestly, I use this so often and for so many different types of looks. It was super affordable as well. I think I got mine for like $12 on BH's website. I think it's now at Ulta as well for like $14.50. So super affordable and one that I really love. Next one is from Too Faced. It is the Sweet Peach palette, and oh man, you guys, comes with the mirror as well. And then here are all the eyeshadows. This one was a super hyped eyeshadow palette, and honestly the release was just a mess. Like, selling out within minutes. Everybody was so upset. Like, it took forever to get my hands on it, and sometimes I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have gone through the struggle to get it because it is so limited edition, and it seemed to be in such like limited quantities that barely anybody got it. So I feel bad when I use it, but honestly, I actually really love this palette. I have used it so many times. Like, usually days where I'm not filming or not talking about my makeup is when I will use this so I don't upset people, but I'm hearing rumors that it's supposed to be coming back out around the holiday season from Too Faced. I really hope those rumors are true because this is a gorgeous palette, and I wish more people could have gotten their hands on it because it's stunning. And it smells like peaches. Next one is the Mood Struck Addiction palette, and this is actually from Unique. I had a friend that I know who sells Unique send this to me, and I did a tutorial with it. So it has the mirror as well, and then here are the shadows. I picked this because I love browns. I love nudes. It had this really nice sparkly gold shade in there as well. I think the shadows are okay. I wouldn't say they're like super pigmented, and like when I want to use the shimmer shades, I definitely have to use like a MAC Fix Plus, but I think it was a decent palette. My little Anastasia palette, so it comes with 4 Anastasia shadows in here. I got this off Ulta. It was like buy 4 shadows and you got the little palette holder for free, which I really liked. So this is, we have Birkin, Burnt Orange, Pink Champagne, and Henna. I love these colors. I was really happy with the color selection that I made. Birkin is like an everyday crease color, so gorgeous. Burnt Orange, like it doesn't look super orange on camera, but it definitely is orange. A lot of times if I'm in a rush, I will seriously just put Burnt Orange everywhere, all over my lid, in my crease, put mascara on, and boom, ready to go. I love it. Pink Champagne, honestly, Pink Champagne is so super talked about from Anastasia, and that's why I got it. I like it, but I don't love it. I find that I have to use a lot of Fix Plus and a lot of product for it to get to show up. It's really pretty once I can get it to there, but you really have to work with it. But Henna is like, it's just like the scene stealer. So I can do like a swatch of it. So there is Henna right there. So there is the swatch of Henna right there. As you can see, I mean, it is just so stunning. One of my favorite colors. I'm really, really glad that I picked that one up. It was kind of like my last choice, but I thought it just looks like such a beautiful shimmer. So those are the 4 shadows I have from Anastasia. I can't believe it, but I almost forgot this because it's always like, it's not with my other eyeshadows because I've been using it all weekend, so it's actually on my desk. But this is my Makeup Geek Z palette. So these are all of the single shadows that I have from Makeup Geek. So we have Peach Smoothie, Creme Brulee, Glamorous, Bitten, Coco Bear, Shimma Shimma, and this is Envy. Peach Smoothie is like, everybody needs Peach Smoothie. I mean, just everybody needs Peach Smoothie. It's such a pretty light shade. Like you can use it as a base. I mean, you can use it as a transition color. I don't a ton, but I use Peach Smoothie just so often. Creme Brulee is another one that I use almost every single day because this is one that kind of reminds me of Birkin from Anastasia. It's just a gorgeous like everyday crease color. Glamorous, this is the one that I said reminded me of the Nomad Cosmetics shade. It's just such a really pretty bronzy gold color. It's just absolutely stunning. Bitten is the one that I used in my most recent fall eyeshadow palette. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous burgundy color. And then Coco Bear is like, it's another one that everybody needs Coco Bear, I think. It's a really pretty deep brown. Great for the crease, great for deepening up the eyeshadow look. It's just beautiful. Shimma Shimma is just a shimmery color. If you can see, it just is so beautiful. So Shimma Shimma is right there. I don't feel like it's swatching great on my hand, but it's absolutely gorgeous on the eyes. I use it so often. And then Envy is such a cool like green shade. Oh, look at that. I absolutely love Envy. I don't use it a ton because it's such a deep like emerald green color, but it is gorgeous. So Makeup Geek shadows, they are really, really good. I always say that I need to get more Makeup Geek shadows. I also would need to get a bigger Z palette as well, of course, but really good shadows. I mentioned some of my favorites in there, and I will leave all of these linked down below as well. Gonna be it for my eyeshadow collection, both single shadows and eyeshadow palettes. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and seeing a part of my makeup collection. Let me know what you guys want to see next. So far I have done, oh, what have I done? I've done foundation and I've done highlighters. I also have a lipstick like declutter video, so that kind of goes over my lipstick collection as well. But let me know what you guys would want to see next. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Please do give it a thumbs up if you did. Make sure you are subscribed before you go, and I will see you real soon in my next one. Bye guys.